everybody, thank you for pressing play on today's video. It's Caroline here from craftycarolinecreates.blogspot.co.uk. Today's project is this very sweet little set of cards and gift tags. How cute is this little fella? He is made using the Snow Place stamp set and the matching framelets. You stamp him out and then you build him up, and it's kept closed using this cute little snowflake. So when we open the box up, inside we have a little box here which houses 4 really cute little matching tags, all made using the Snow Place. I will show you these on my blog tomorrow in a bit more detail. And at the back we have 4 single layer, very pretty, very simple cards using the same set. I guess the best thing for me to do is just to show you exactly how I made it. So let's pop these back in their box. Oops, there we go. And we can get on and do exactly that. So we are going to start with some pieces of cardstock. So you need 3 pieces of Pool Party cardstock. These measure, what do they measure? This one measures 11 by 4 3/4. The small bit is 6 1/4 by 2 5/8 of an inch, and this one is 5 3/4 of an inch by 8 1/4 inches. All of those dimensions will be on my blog, so don't worry about having to write them down really quickly. The first thing we are going to do is stamp these all over using this cute little snowflake emblem from the Snow Place stamp set. Really like this as a good background making stamp. So I've got some Pool Party ink and I've mounted that stamp. The snowflakes do come as 3. I have seen people cut them up so you could use them individually, but I've kept mine together because I think they work pretty well together. Gonna bring in my foam mat because it is a photopolymer set, so you will just get a slightly better imprint if you use a foam mat underneath your cardstock. Make a bit of room to work and just ink that up, and I'm just going to randomly fill in, make sure you press down properly, randomly fill in all of the space on my cardstock with this snowflake pattern. Okay, super quick. I have already done the other 2 pieces just to save a little bit of time. So you can see all 3 on one side are stamped with that pattern. So now we will do a little bit of scoring. So the scoreboard comes in and we will start with this piece here, which is the largest piece. So the 11 by 4 3/4 inch piece. I'm going to score that just along the long side at 6 1/2 inches. And at 7 1/4 inches. All of these will be on my blog, as I said. Put that to one side. This is our sort of medium piece, if we call it that, 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. I'm going to score it along the long side at 3 3/4 of an inch and at 4 1/2 inches. Then we are going to score it along the shorter side at 3/4 of an inch and at 5 inches. Nope, that's wrong. Yeah, 5 inches, sorry, 5 inches. I had that right. So that was 3/4 of an inch and at 5 inches, okay? And the small bit we are going to score along the long side at at 1/4 of an inch and at 2 3/8 of an inch. Oh, it's a little bit fiddly. And then along the long side we are going to score that at 3 inches and 3 3/4 of an inch. Sorry, 3 1/4 of an inch. Okay, getting a little bit mixed up there. But all the dimensions will be on my blog if you were a little confused by what I have just said. So let's take our bone folder, which is hiding over here, and we'll just fold and burnish along those score lines we have just made. Okay. That's that one done. Just bear with me a second while I do all these. This, as you know, just gives a much crisper feel and the box a much better professional finish when you fold it up. And the last one is there, done super quick. Okay, so we'll put this long one to the side. We won't need that for a moment, and we'll start working on our medium piece. Got my scissors here, and what I'm going to do is on each end I'm just going to cut up the score line here and here and just notch those out. Okay, so just notch up there, oh, and up there, and then notch those out like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to build this up using some fuse. I'm just going to put fuse on the inside of 2 of these flaps. So that's the pattern side, the side you stamped on the box. Some fuse along the 2 sides there. Fold in your middle flaps, and then you can just stick this underneath there like that to fold this up into a nice square box. Okay. Okay, so that is obviously where our cards are going to pop into. This one is going to be where our tags pop into, and we're going to make that up in exactly the same way. So we're just going to snip up those 2 central score lines and notch that out, and do exactly the same on the other side here and notch those out. There we go. Then we are going to put snail once again along those 2 flaps. Oh, I come into shot so you can see that better. There we go, along those 2 flaps, and then again tuck in those flaps first, and we're just going to fold that over and stick it down on either side. So that's one done. Oh, let me just pop that in first. There we go, 2 done. Okay, so those are our 2 little boxes where our cards and our tags are going to go. The next thing we need to do is start building it up together. I'm going to start by putting the decoration on this bit, which is going to be our flap. I've already done a little bit of pre-work on this. So this is a piece of real red cardstock this time that measures 11 inches by 2 1/4, and I've scored that at 3 3/4 and 4 1/2 inches. So that makes a flap which will mimic the one we have just done. So you can see how that will then pop over the top, just like that. Onto the front of here I've stuck a piece of Whisper White that measures 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. I've just rounded off the bottom corners, and I've decorated with some of this white and red stripy ribbon, which is from Stampin' Up's Christmas catalogue. Show you it. Here it is. It's a really fine ribbon. I think it's about 1/4 inch thick, but it's a really pretty ribbon. And then using our Snow Place set, I've taken our lovely little penguin. I have stamped him, and then I popped him out using the matching framelets. Okay, so pretty much all of these images in this set have a matching framelit, which means you can also stamp his hat. I've also done that in real red, and his scarf, which I've done in garden green. Okay, and then we can just, what I'm going to do is just use this to decorate the front of that flap. So I think we'll stick down Mr. Penguin first, using a little bit of Tombow. Oh. I did debate putting him on dimensionals actually, but I'm still not 100% sure sticking him down is right. I think he would also look quite cool popped up on dimensionals, but I didn't want to make it too bulky. Then we're going to stick his scarf on, again a little bit of Tombow on the back. There we go. Whoops, sorry you didn't see that. So we will stick that on around his neck like that. And finally his hat. Again with Tombow. Oh, oops, drop it if I can pick it up. Put that on a little jaunty angle like that. Okay, so that is our penguin nicely decorated. And now I need to stick this flap down on top of my box flap that we have already made. So I want to get that lined up pretty much the score line so that then this flap is lining up with the bottom here. Okay, so I'm going to just then put some Tombow on the back. I'm going to use Tombow because it does give me a little bit of wiggle room that Fuse won't. Okay, so not too much Tombow that's going to squirt out, but enough that it's going to stick down securely. And then just using my eye, I'm going to stick that down in the centre, just like that. Okay, and then fold that up and round just to make sure that that is nicely also aligned that way. There we go. Okay, so that is our decorative flap done. So now we're going to stick it onto our box here, which I'm just going to bring in, and we're just going to stick it to the bottom of the flap. So I'm going to make sure that where my flaps seal up, so the join you can see is going to go to the back. So that's the side I'm going to put my Tombow on. Okay. And then just stick that down flush to the edge and the sides of your flap. If you want to get in with your bone folder just to make sure that that is stuck down. Okay, so you can see our box is coming together pretty well. What we are now going to do is add on our box for our tags. And if you remember in the example, this box has a cute little closing mechanism using a snowflake there, like that. So first thing I'm going to do is stick our box down. So again, Tombow on the back of here. Okay, I just want to stick it down in the centre, like that. So when my flap folds over, it will cover it up. Okay, and our snowflake then is going to go over like this to be our closing mechanism. So what I'm going to do is put Tombow on the bottom half of my snowflake so that only the bottom half sticks down, and then the top half will act as our means of closing our box. And just to help us secure it initially, I'm going to put, oops, sorry, you couldn't see that. So I put Tombow on one half of my snowflake, and then I glued that in the middle just to help us when we first pop this down. Oh, something's happened to my glue dots. This is my second video where they haven't been very sticky for some reason. I think maybe they've been in somewhere a bit hot and they've dried out a little bit. There we go, that's stuck on. So keeping my glued section to the bottom, so this is my glued spike, and holding my box closed, I'm just going to then pop that on there like that, slide it out. I'm just going to get my finger inside that box to make sure I'm pressing that down tightly. Okay, and we can see that that will then allow us to just pop this underneath our snowflake to keep it nice and closed. Okay, just like that, she says. There we go, just like that. Okay, so all that's left for us to do is pop in our cards. So these are the cards that I made. Remember, if you want to have a closer look at these, pop over to my blog and you'll be able to see those tomorrow. Pop those in. Pop in my gift tags, which are here and lovely. There we go. And then we can just close our box down, and that will stay nicely in place. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you are inspired to give it a go. If you have any questions or you'd like to buy any Stampin' Up products, please do not hesitate to get in touch. It does stay closed. Take my fingers away and it does stay closed. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.